Rita.
Well, what has net zero done to energy prices in New Zealand, and what does it do to reliability? Have you got citizens who are in energy poverty like we are seeing in the UK?
Yeah, I'm the Minister of Resources, and we're just about to finalise a set of changes to our energy policy that will go to our cabinet. But the real problem is we were a low-cost energy system. We grew up on the back of our forefathers building the hydro dams, the geo dams. And I'm not entirely sure what the social mindset is that gripped New Zealanders in Jacinda's time. The reality is the power prices have not come down as a consequence of wind and solar. And if anything, last winter, I believe we had the highest spiking prices for electricity in the entire OECD. And what's driven this? A hatred of fossil fuels, a false belief that you can run an economy without peaking power or firming power derived either from coal and gas. So we went through a 180-degree turn and basically buried Jacinda's thinking. And I've just come back from Singapore, where we're going to turbocharge gas exploration, gas development, and we're not going to be intimidated from using our own coal, because sadly, month by month, up to 1 million tonnes of coal we need to bring in from Indonesia because of historic, juvenile, unicorn-kissing thinking that we can grow rich without using our own resources.
This is wonderful. I'm in heaven, James.
Minister,
this is so good.
Tell me more, though, about the broader state of the New Zealand economy. What has happened to the economy? Because my understanding is that productivity has taken a real serious hit in recent years. How much of that is due to the fact that power prices are so high? And while I know you would be loath to comment on another nation's policies, how much of a cautionary tale do you see New Zealand as being for Australia? Are we just going down the same Jacinda road? Do you see it from your perspective, and what are the dangers for us over on this side of the ditch?
Well, my boss is Winston Peters, and his favourite line to his megaphone politician is stick to your own lane, Shane. But the reality is, through a lot of our OECD English-speaking countries, and indeed the EU, we have bought into the mindset of climate cultism without fully appreciating, do we have a sustainable mandate amongst garden variety New Zealanders so that they have the ability to bear the cost? I think the next election, quite frankly, is going to be about resetting, rebalancing, and avoiding deindustrialisation. Now, obviously, we're giving you our workforce every week, every month, every year, but a lot of the Kiwis do come home. Just bear in mind, we're about a $270, $80 billion US dollar GDP economy. We rely heavily on agriculture. Agriculture is not a part of our emissions trading scheme. By and large, they do not face these climate taxes. And long may that prevail. My leader, Winston Peters, has consistently campaigned on ensuring that we quarantine our largest export earner, dairy and agriculture, from quite frankly what has turned into be a very commercially damaging ideology and driven largely by the Green Party and Jacinda Ardern. And thankfully she's gone. Living in exile, I think, up there at Harvard University.
I'm glad you mentioned, Shane, Jacinda Ardern, because there was a point there where she seemed to be, worrying about the farting cows and getting all concerned about the farmers. And there was a period there where it looked quite threatening or menacing for New Zealand farmers, which is, of course, a huge part of your economy. But what lessons for Australia, Shane? When you've finished up there, can you please come over here and help us? Because we're in dire straits. We've got the government who are completely wedded to this unicorn story, as you call it, the climate change doomsday cult. We've got an opposition who can't decide whether they're Arthur or Martha, or are wandering around not knowing what to do. What's your advice, I guess, politically? You mentioned the next New Zealand election, but how can you, in the next 30 seconds or so, give our coalition some backbone, Shane?
Well, all I can do is remind us, If you do not have affordable energy in an economy, then your economy is going to deindustrialize. That is the challenge that I, as a regional centre-right patriotic politician, am dealing with every week, which is why, along with our colleagues from the National Party and the ACT Party, we're about to generate some solutions and interventions. But, mate, it's going to take quite a deep dive. I mean, these viral influences have embedded themselves in the infrastructure and the scaffolding of the state now. And there's always elements that are trying to outweigh democratically elected politicians. You may or may not know, over the last week, we had to get the Greenies and our wildlife department to back down because of decisions they were making that upheld the status of lizards above human beings.
That'd be right. Yeah.
Fortunately, we led a bit of a campaign to get these wildlife people to hop back in the box where they belong, and enable the politicians to run the country rather than these very nefarious forces that hide deep in the system, which don't agree with my quality of rhetoric or our approach. And our approach in the party I belong to, New Zealand First, is we are not going to have the weaponizations of frogs, lizards, dead moths against jobs, investment, and continual prosperity. Simple as that. And the Kiwis are on my side.
Bravo. So good to listen to you, Shane. If you've got a twin brother or sister you can send over here to help us, we need all help we can over in Australia. That's Shane Jones there, New Zealand Resources Minister, doing a sensational job. Thank you, Shane, so much for coming on Outsiders.